Hey guys, just finished watching Gotham, Season 4, Episode 19, A Dark Night to Our Deaths and Beyond. What an episode. I mean, it starts off with Barbara. She's being tested by the league to see that she's, whether or not she's mastered the demon's head. And she hasn't yet at the beginning of the episode. And Tabitha tricks Selena into bringing, his Tabitha in last week's episode was taken hostage taken over by the males, the guys left over from the League of Assassins, the ones who didn't follow, weren't looking for Barbara, and we're only going to the ones that were left over that were not killed by the women and stuff. And so she tricks Selena into bringing Bruce so that they could use Bruce's blood to help bring back Ra's al Ghul. It's interesting that they're doing that with only a few episodes left in this season. Like we only have we're going to about 22 this episode, so we only have 2 or 3 episodes left in this season. Let's check this out here on IMDb. We're on 19 and we're going to 22. Yeah, so we have 3 episodes left for this show. So it's interesting that they're doing that, bringing him back so soon. I mean, I'm not sure if the show has been confirmed yet for season 5 or not, but they're not sure if they're getting confirmed, and they're doing this show, and I'm assuming that they're finished filming by now. They're usually only a few episodes ahead type thing. They're done filming, so I'm not sure, why they're setting this up. If they had plans for him for season 5, if they know that they're already getting a season 5, then that's pretty cool. Especially with the whole Disney buying Fox and all that stuff, and this Batman show I don't know if Disney, Marvel, and all that stuff would want to keep this Gotham show going, or just sell it back to Warner Brothers for a fee type thing. Hey, you want this back or whatever? I don't know how that would work type of thing, or they would just keep going, or things would keep going and stuff. I guess if it making them profit, they don't care, right? What it is, whether it's Batman or not, keep going. But it's going to be interesting to see with that, and obviously that's not going to affect them now until at least 2019, when things could be things looking like they're going to be done with that. So I don't think we have anything to worry about for season 5. Maybe going into season 6, maybe that's when things could go. We'll have to wait and see. But also, if shows are contracted and stuff, we'll have to wait and see if things are set in stone. But we'll have to wait and see where things go with that. So Tabitha tricks Selena to get Bruce to bring back Ra's al Ghul. They bring him back. Lee Tompkins and Enigma are robbing banks together in the Narrows and giving the money back to the Narrows and stuff. Penguin shows up and he wants half, but they say no. Ra's al Ghul confronts Barbara, and he's all zombie-ified, and he looks pretty cool. I would have liked to have keep him zombie throughout the whole show, but I guess they want to bring him back to his normal self. So he confronts Barbara, attacks Barbara, and then she ends up running away. And then she ends up getting saved by Bruce in the Batmobile, or his prototype Batmobile type thing, which is pretty cool because it has that different modes to be less loud and all that stuff. So I think it's an interesting idea to play with that. I think it would be cool if he could kind of play different colors with that. If he could if he can have a different colored on the hood, so that he can have a bright color when he wants to play on when he wants to play the Playboy lifestyle and all that stuff. He can do that and just play it and change the license plate, change the color, and then when he wants to go quiet, he can just do it and have it black and it kind of blend into places. I think that's a really cool idea, and that's going to be really fun to see him using that later on. So then they decided they need to steal the knife that Bruce used to kill Ra's al Ghul in the last season, during the final, when he actually killed Ra's al Ghul and stuff. So that's really going to be cool. It was cool with that, but then they go to steal the knife. Barbara ends up taking the knife from them at gunpoint, and then we get back to Riddler, and he ends up betraying Lee, so that he can take the money and split it with Oswald Cobblepot and Penguin and stuff. Barbara masters the demon's head, starts kind of predicting things and seeing how things are going to go. And she uses it. She ends up giving it up when and giving it back to Ra's al Ghul when Tabitha's life is at stake. The Riddler. It turns out the Riddler was actually playing the Penguin, and he ends up locking Butch and him in the vault. And it's unclear. He ends up burning the vault down. But did they get the money out? I mean, why were Penguin and Grundy in the vault if the money was all out? Whatever. I don't know why they did that. that'll be interesting to see that. And Penguin Riddler escapes, but Lee goes to confront Jim, and he just arrests her right there on the spot. So that was interesting with that. So it'll be cool to see how that goes. How are they going to get her out of jail? I mean, Riddler's not going to physically break her out of her prison, but it could be an interesting idea to play with to see how she's going to get out of this, or if she's going to go to prison and go become loony when she's inside of the prison and get affected by someone, like maybe she gets broken out when Jeremiah ends up, Jerome's brother, who's now infected, who we didn't see in this episode, which is disappointing since we only have so few episodes left now that he's poisoned. We didn't see anything of him in here. That's kind of disappointing. But maybe we'll get to see him in next week's episode with, if she goes to Arkham or goes to any prison and he wants to get his own goon, so he ends up breaking a bunch of people out. She ends up just walking out during the commotion type thing. I think that could be an interesting idea to do that. And then we go to Bruce's place, Bruce's mansion, and Selina's there, and Ray shows up and Roz shows up and he decides he wants to, he tells Bruce that he wants to train him to become the Dark Knight of Gotham because he sees the fire burnings and he predicts the city on fire type thing. And I think that's really going to be an interesting idea to play with, to him becoming the Dark Knight, because so far, other than a few little things going on, we haven't really had, this whole season has been, the Dark Knight, the subtitle for this whole season has been the Dark Knight, and we haven't really got that. I mean, we've had a little bit of stuff here and there. Maybe the Batmobile, this prototype Bat car type thing, is the closest thing to him becoming the Dark Knight about him. He did wear the costume at the end of last season, but we haven't really seen him use it that much, that costume. He's used it a couple of times at the beginning, and we really haven't seen him use it. So hopefully what he means by that, he can start putting on the costume and becoming a vigilante, and he can use this stuff to do that. I think that could be quite cool to see that. Who knows if that's what Ra's al Ghul really wants for him, is to become, or Ra's al Ghul really wants is for him to become the Dark Knight and actually saving people and doing that part. That'll be interesting to see where things go with that. I mean, the idea of Bruce, Bruce almost had to wanted to actually kill Ra's al Ghul in this episode, but he decided, but people didn't want him to, Alfred didn't want him to, Selina didn't want him to. They'd rather just let Barbara kill Ra's al Ghul. So I'm not sure. I think it's going to be cool to see where things go with that. I kind of would like to see him, not that he's willing to kill, but I don't want it to see him break him every time he happens to kill someone. I like the idea of the more Dark Knight, the Dark Knight Returns version of Batman, where he doesn't care about the criminals. He's not out there going and killing them, and shooting them in the head, kill shots. But if he ends up crippling them and they happen to bleed out, type thing, who cares? That's part of the business. That's the Batman that I like, the one that doesn't really matter, the one from Batman v Superman type thing, where he's not out really. I mean, obviously he's killing a bunch of people in that version, but he's not out there specifically killing people. But if they happen to, oh well, and if they're crippled for life, good for it, because they're criminals type thing. So I think I like that idea, and building up to that version of Bruce, where he's not doesn't want to kill, but he's not really affected by it, because right now he looks like he's really affected by it. And it's an interesting way to do it, but it's not the version I like it. I like the version who's rough and tough and beaten and brutal and not worried about killing them, but yet not out there to kill them type thing. I think that's an interesting idea to play with, and that'll be cool to see him becoming more of the Dark Knight, since he saw that vision when he was affected by Poison Ivy. So that'll be cool to see her come back. I forget where we last saw Poison Ivy or anything like that, but that'll be fun to see where things go with everything and how they all come around. And it's also going to be cool to see, especially with the trailer for not next week's episode, next week, which is interesting that you only have, this is our fourth, we only have 3 more episodes left, and they're giving us a break. We're skipping a week. Why are we doing that? I really don't like that, but it actually works out for me, because next week on Thursday I'll be watching Infinity Wars in theaters, so it works out for me not having an episode that next week of Gotham. But I just don't know why. Otherwise, if it wasn't a coincidence that it worked out like that, why would they give us a break right so close to the end like this? That's kind of, it wouldn't be acceptable although if it didn't work out so well for me right now, or at least for anyone going to see Infinity War. So that's going to be cool to see where things go in next week's episode. Like I was saying about not Jerome but Jeremiah, and how there's all the people that Jerome was working with. They know his ultimate plan was to infect his brother. Does Crane, Scarecrow, Mr. Freeze, any of those guys, do they know that his ultimate plan was to infect his brother and pass on his craziness to his brother, which is an interesting idea to see if they're going to go, and they're going to show up on his steps, like, we know this was his plan all along, and that's when they start building up their team of evil, like their evil Justice League type thing of super comic book accurate characters from the show. And I really like that when they do that and they have all the characters that are pretty much exactly the way they are in the comics. You have your Joker, you have your Riddler, you have all these characters that are Penguin, Scarecrow, all those really colorful comic book characters are really going to be cool to see how them all come back before the end of the episode, before the end of the season. So I'm really excited to see where things go here. Like this episode was really cool. There's a 9.8 here on IMDb so far, but I wouldn't give it a 9.8 just because no Jerome, no Joker, or anything like that. And there's all kinds of other things, and also we have a break next week. That's kind of weird, but like I said, it works out. So I guess I'd give this episode probably an 8 out of 10. But otherwise, it was an interesting episode. So let me know what you think, guys, about this in the comments below. Where do you think things are going from here? How come do you think they're setting all this Ra's al Ghul stuff up so soon, so late in the season? For if we don't know if we have a season 5 or not, we'll have to wait and see. But I'll go Google it here and I'll put it in the video after I film this, and we'll see if they get a season 5 or not. We'll check this out. So let me know what you think, guys, about this in the comments below. Season 4, episode 19 of Gotham, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
Remember, be smart, be safe. Always do your curb drill.